So, hey there. I'm wearing the Jaws shirt today because I love Jaws, love the movies. All of them. I mean it, even 4. I love 4. I do love 3. Actually, I love, well, maybe not love 4, but I love 3. It's really cool. It's really fun. It's got that, like, really cheesy, like, shark scene. If you got the Jaws 3D edition, the one on Blu-ray, that's a really cool edition, by the way. It's got decent 3D on it, too. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about Jaws today, even though I'm wearing the Jaws shirt, and I love the Jaws shirt because I got this when I was going to Ottawa. And I love Ottawa. It feels very homey to me. That's where I thought I was going to be, actually, next year. Because originally, the plan was that we were going to wait till my youngest finished high school, and we were going to move up to Ottawa, work up there. But a very good job offer came about that was too good to turn down, hence the move to from Newfoundland to Cape Breton. I do get to travel to see my kids and my family a lot, which has been it's been really good. And because of this, my youngest is going to be finishing like high school and is looking towards the universities in the Nova Scotia area. So always good. You never know where things are going to lead you and why. So today is kind of a vlog video. I got some pickups to show you guys. I got some 4K stuff. I'm going to talk about like I'm going to talk about some 4K stuff. I'm going to talk about some directors and some of my favorites. And some people that I think are really important right now. I'm going to talk a bit about a lot of different stuff, some stuff I've been watching. So if you've been following my videos, you're going to, especially recently, you're going to know that I got into the 4K. For Christmas this year, we got ourselves the 4K television set. We got the Xbox One S, and we first had like 3 movies, and then we got a bunch more now to the point where we got 26 4K UHDs. And 2 and 1 like 4K TV series, which is, I think, as far as I can remember, the only 4K TV series that's available, which is Westworld. I'm going to talk about in a second. So the 2 that I got from Amazon, I got them yesterday. It came to my door, and I was going to make a video, but I had laundry to do last night, so I was doing laundry. I'm still doing laundry today. I'm just getting everything straightened away because we had a bit of rest time, like a bit of downtime, watching movie time during Christmas, and that's pretty much what we did. We stayed home. We had a few drinks and some stuff at the house, and we watched some movies. We watched like a lot of movies. We watched watched Dunkirk. My better half didn't plan on watching it because she doesn't like stressful movies, and like underwater movies sometimes kind of stress her out. So, but she woke up in the middle of the night and I was watching Dunkirk. She got up and watched it with me, and she was a little bit the ways in, so I had to kind of explain like the converging timeline aspect of it. And we watched Mother, which I'll do like reviews on all these down the road. But we did enjoy that. It was challenging. Darren Aronofsky is usually challenging. This is probably one of his most challenging films, if not his most challenging film, that can be pretty decisive among people. And I can understand people that love it, and I can understand people that don't love it. And I'll get into that later on in a review. But we watched that. We watched both Kingsman films, Kingsman's Golden Circle. A lot of watching, actually. I've started watching Westworld on 4K. Now, I started watching it when it was on TV, but I said I'm going to wait till I can actually pick it up. And at the time, I was going to pick it up on Blu-ray. And then I got the 4K, so I said this is the first show that came out on 4K. I definitely wanted it on 4K. It was a Nolan thing. Basically, Jonathan Nolan, the brother of Christopher Nolan, wrote Westworld. He's one of the creators of the show, and he wrote a lot of he was a co-writer on a lot of Christopher Nolan's work as well. So you can pretty much expect quality when it comes to the Nolans, which we're going to talk to a little bit about in a little bit here. But before even shows off, I got to say I've been watching Westworld. My better half can watch it. She loves the show, but it just stresses her out a bit because it deals with the fact that you have these androids, like robots, that are basically, and humans come into this place called Westworld. It's kind of a theme park, and it's like huge. It's sprawling, and they can do horrible, horrible things to them. And as the series progresses, we see what the repercussions are going to be to all the things that they've done and all the horrible, dark side of human nature that they've purged onto these poor androids who are starting to get more self-aware. So yeah, it takes a ride into that dark part of like when you dehumanize something, how far can you go? How far will you go? How dark will you dive into that, like into that part of yourself? It's a good show, and I would recommend Westworld to anyone. It's definitely one of my favorite shows that I'm watching right now. I'm a huge fan of it. I mean, I watch all kinds of like TV and like movies, but right now I'm really into Westworld, and haven't watched it all yet. So don't give any spoiler stuff down in the comment section below. Let me enjoy it. So anyway, I picked up two. Came from Amazon yesterday. We did actually watch one of them while I was doing laundry. So got John Wick. Love this movie. Love Keanu Reeves. Fantastic. I think Keanu Reeves is highly underrated, actually, to be honest with you. Great 4K disc. Great HDR. The fight scene at the end, fantastic. I mean, with the rain and it just and the scene in the bar. You know, the nightclub sequence, incredible. But this one here, next one, this is definitely reference demo quality. John Wick 2, it was amazing. There's a fight in the big fight in like each one of them has its signature fight. The guy that directed these films is famous for doing like stunt work. Did a lot of second unit directing on like a lot of big films, and of course he was the stunt double for Keanu Reeves in many films, like for many years, including the Matrix films. So he directed this, and he has a great eye for action. And there's a long fight sequence in this like kind of like hall of mirrors, these rooms of mirrors, and it's phenomenal. And it's one of those things that when you want to show somebody the difference between, like, say, Blu-ray and 4K, to wow them a bit, like John Wick 2, that sequence, or Dunkirk, any aero sequence, Dunkirk, that's something to go for. That's one way to like I find to impress them a bit, because a lot of people are still unsure about 4K, and I understand that. It's not going to be for everybody. Just like Blu-ray originally wasn't for everybody, and there was like it took time to come on. And some people still don't. I mean, like, I collect, like, for me, I don't just collect one format. I don't like collect one format and then drop all the other formats, or think I got to buy everything over again or redo my collection. If you've seen my collection, you'll know that I got VHS, I've got Laserdisc, I've got like a bunch of DVDs, like a lot of DVDs actually, Blu-rays, and just 4K is another format that I'm collecting. When it comes to like a lot of the newer films, or films that I would upgrade, like for instance, I had Blade Runner on DVD with the big like case, the case, because the only one I could find was the DVD format of it, and of course there was a Blu-ray, and I didn't get the Blu-ray. I was waiting, actually. I watched Blade Runner Final Cut on DVD just before I went to see Blade Runner 2049, and maybe I'll talk about some of my favorite movies of the year now while I'm here doing this vlog. But it was just, even watching it on DVD, Blade Runner looks beautiful. It's a beautiful film. I know I did finally upgrade to Blade Runner the Final Cut. I got the 4K disc, of course. It comes with the Blu-ray as well, so I finally got the Blu-ray too of Blade Runner along with the 4K. So it'll be interesting to watch that down the road. I've seen it like recently, so I'm not going to watch it in the near future. But it is a movie that I can go back to and watch over and over again. I kind of like noirs, and it's got a neo-noir type of feel to it, which is fantastic. I did enjoy the new Blade Runner films as well. I'm going to talk about that a little bit down the road too in this video, because what I want to do is I want to talk about some of my favorite films. But first I want to talk about directors and how important certain directors can be for mediums as well. Because here we are into like a few years into this whole into the whole 4K thing, and there's a director that's had enough power and has been revered enough that I've seen some of my friends that were unsure about getting going to the next, about making that step into 4K, actually go to 4K because of this director, and that is the aforementioned Christopher Nolan. He's pretty much. Some people consider Nolan to be kind of like overrated, or to like certain films of his. You know, well, everybody likes certain films, don't like others. I don't consider Nolan to be overrated, and I know that's kind of like insane to say at a point where it seems like Nolan is just everywhere. But I think the thing is, like, even if you don't like all his films, or they're not all for you, you can appreciate like what he does and what he puts into his work. He's the closest thing, and this is, for some people this is going to be spot on, and they're going to get it right away. And for other people, they're going to say, like, you know, heresy. He's the closest thing to Kubrick we got in this here generation. He is the closest thing to Kubrick that we got. A guy that has like this amount of control, and is this like dedicated and focused to his vision in whatever film and genre he does. He does it like with he does his vision, and sometimes that works out for him. Actually, for me, like most of the times it works out for him. But not everybody's going to love it. Dunkirk I think it's a fantastic film, but it's not. It's a war film that's not for that's not going to resonate totally for everybody. Some people like come across the fact they don't like the converging timelines. They find that they really come out of Dunkirk not knowing as much about Dunkirk as they want to know, or as they think that a movie called Dunkirk should teach them. And I completely get that. I understand, but I don't think that he was going in to teach us everything that there was to know. Like this wasn't meant to be like, okay, this is definitively like this is Dunkirk. He was meant. We got slices, and for me, that it was a visual masterpiece. I loved following the story, and it just made me want to fill in like certain spaces. It made me want to know more, and go in and like so. My kitty cat's there, so and I meant sweetie. So basically, it did what I think you wanted it to do. It makes you want to dive in more. So if you hadn't wanted to see like any History Channel documentaries on Dunkirk before, you will after watching the movie. I feel anyway. That's the way it left me. I was blown away. I was left. I was emotional for certain parts of it. I actually really was. The aerial was incredible, and to find out that Nolan went up in those like in the fighter planes, like to get that like the feel of those dogfights, just the dedication that he puts into it. And the fact that Nolan was coming out with the Dark Knight trilogy, Nolan was coming out with the Nolan collection in 4K, and that moved people to go into this format. People that didn't necessarily, they weren't necessarily going to be going into the format as soon otherwise. Now it helps, other aspects help. The TVs have lowered in price. Xbox One S. I found a lot of people actually have started getting 4Ks recently because the Boxing Day came around. The Xbox One S was really cheap to buy, and it was a great way. It was an introduction for the player, much in the way that the PS3 helped many people get into Blu-ray. I find that the Xbox One S is a system that's helping a lot of people get into 4K because the TVs are there, and like TVs going forward, they're going to be 4K TVs. Whether you want to get into 4K, like collecting 4K or not, 4K doesn't stop you from like watching Blu-rays. Doesn't stop you from watching DVDs. It's backwards compatible. It's just there if you want to watch it. But like more, over the years, people get new TVs, and the standard right now is the 4K television. So, and it's becoming more and more standard. And people will say things like, well, you got to have like a huge screen to get the resolution. You got to be optimally like sitting so far or close from the television set. But that's not all. If it's just about resolution, that's just one thing. You just have a better TV with better resolution, and the bigger your screen, the better the resolution. You're going to see the difference in the resolution is. That's just the way that it is. It's it's kind of the HDR, the high dynamic range, the different color gamut that really makes a difference when it comes to stuff like this. That's when you start to notice the different colors, different shades. That's a fact. You'll see that. Not on everything. I mean, like certain ones you're going to see, you're just going to see get a bit of the pop to the color. Certain, and everything's not supposed to pop out. So the idea is to make it as close to theatrical experience as basically what the director intended for you to see. That's what the 4K disc is trying to be. So Dolby Atmos is, a lot of people talk about Dolby Atmos, and that's sound basically. That's like that really cool booming sound. Now Christopher Nolan shot like did the films in 5.1. Now we could have like did the Dolby Atmos track and had booming like sound for the Dark Knight trilogy, for Dunkirk, movies like that would have sound incredible, but he wanted to keep it as close to what he did as possible. So 5.1 was the sound that was going to be on all of his ones. Like people are, why didn't he have Dolby Atmos? Because as true to the director's vision as you can possibly get. That's what it's all about. It's about being as true to the director's vision as you can possibly get. It's a region-free format. It's a breath of fresh air that way. And hopefully I don't have to come on and like just feel like I'm defending it. But I've been asked a lot of questions about it, and so it's not really in defense of it. It's basically a lot of people, since I've got it, and I'm on Instagram a lot. So if you feel free, Charm007 I think is my Instagram. So feel free to hit that, to follow me on Instagram. So you'll find out a lot sooner about a lot of the stuff that I got. And my cat, the photobombs here. Hold on a sec, guys. So you wanted to be in here, right? All right. Did you want to be in the video? Did you? Anyway. Okay. So he looks away. His name's Scaredy. But you can see his tail there. As soon as I put the camera up, he looks up at me like, screw you. I got asked a lot of questions recently from Instagram and that basically about 4K and why that I went for it, and how if it's going to be part of my channel going forward. So it's 2018 now. Happy 2018, guys! I still can't believe it's 2018. It's going to be part of my channel going forward. I collect all formats, and I'm glad to finally be able to say, all right, there, kitty cat, that it's another format that I've added to there. I have some stuff that's hopefully coming in the near future. Like there's some Christmas gifts that I kind of got for myself, and my better half got for me, and some I got for myself as well. Some from Severin, some from Arrow Video. Arrow ones usually take a while to get around here, and I'm hoping that they'll get faster than they normally do. But I got a few Arrows that I'm really excited about. One specifically that I'm really, really stoked to get. Actually, there's a couple of them in Arrow ones, a couple in Severance as well. And hopefully sometime soon in the new year we're going to get news on the Jack the Rippers that are coming from Severin. I got to go check the laundry. I'll be right back, and we're going to talk some more. So one of the things I got asked about this year was basically what it's one of the collections that really kind of got bumped up in the in 2017. So one of them was Kino had some big sales, and I wanted to get a lot of the classic stuff and a lot of the cool action, exploitation, sci-fi stuff that I really wanted to grab. So a lot of Kino got was gotten within this year, and you can see some of my. I'm just going to move the camera here a little bit, so you can see some of my Kino there. So you can look there and you can see stuff like there's the Pete Walker Collection Volume 2. And the only reason I got Volume 2 and not Volume 1 is if you look through there, you see it has the Whipcord Schizo, Die Screaming Marianne, Comeback. Those are all the movies that are in the first Pete Walker collection. So I got the first collection all together on singular, and I got the Volume 2 all together. So I have the entire Pete Walker collection, I'm pretty sure of right now. I think I've got to get one that's not in the collection. That's the oh my god, House of Long Shadows. I need that one. You see, I got a few the Redemption ones. Redemption is one of the sub-labels of Kino as well. So Oasis of Zombies is there. Symphony of the St. Valentine, because I make no bones about the fact that I do like the non-exploitation genre. And the only one that I got from the Jezebel line is from the cinema genre line, and that is Schoolgirl Hitchhikers. I really wish that I had the vampire collection, because I remember watching when we had like a channel called the Scream Channel here in Canada. So I was there when it first came on the air, and I was watching it right from the beginning. They had like the show called Exhumed that would come on late at night. They'd show like a lot of like foreign films, and I used to watch a lot of genre Roland films on there. There was like the Two from Vampires. Oh man, there's so many. There's just a lot of really, really great stuff. I got one of the vampire ones here, well, one of his horror ones anyway, and that's over in the DVD section, which you can't quite see as well there. You see, like, there's a lot of movies that I really like from the 80s. I really love the movie Eye of the Jury with Armand Assante. I've always been a big fan of that one. Avenging Force is one brutally cool, like, action film. It's actually the sequel to Invasion USA. Of course, Invasion USA has Chuck Norris. Avenging Force has Michael Dudikoff. So, like, the character Matt Hunter has gotten younger in in the sequel. Now there's White Lightning and Gator. Those are actually two films with Burt Reynolds. They're I think the Gator's a sequel, I think, to White Lightning. And there's a few action ones. No Retreat, No Surrender has two different versions, both the international version and the theatrical version. Some people actually prefer the theatrical version because it has a bit more like tells the story about the guy and the girl. You can understand why he does what he does a bit more in that one. You're going to see like a lot of like different stuff. Astro Zombies was a Ted V. Michaels film. War Gods of the Deep, just like a fun, cheesy Vincent Price one. Trouble Man's one of the blaxploitation ones that I got there. Across 110th Street's another one. Cotton Comes to Harlem. Beware the Blob. Just so many really, really cool like films. Malone's, Burt Reynolds one. Not everybody likes that. It's a little bit slower, but I do like that one. And the Sicilian Clan. Truck Turner is really fun. I mean, like, I really had a lot of fun watching Truck Turner. And as you can see, like, if you can look down far, you see those colorful ones. That's the Patty Freeling collection so far. And of course, we've announced the Pink Panther ones, which we're definitely going to be getting. We've actually pre-ordered the first Pink Panther volume already. And down there, if you go on farther, you can see like some of the DVDs there, and you can see a few of the sets I got, like the silent film set there from Kino. So there's a lot of different Kino stuff that I picked up. So people ask me what are one of the collections that I got in 2017 that I'm kind of more proud of beefing up. That's definitely the Kino Lorber collection. As you can see, it's getting there. Definitely got a lot of stuff from Kino Lorber. And in a future video, I'm going to be talking about some of my Magnum Copper stuff, well, as I kind of delve more into it and actually get to watch more of the films. So anyways, as I was saying before, though, yeah, I do feel that Nolan has helped like push 4K more into the mainstream, because a lot of people, he's one of those people that's been able to, like, you know, the Dark Knight trilogy. I love the films. It's not my favorite Batman. Like, no, there's no doubt about it that my favorite Batman is still Michael Keaton. And before people kind of like get on me about that, like in the days of the forums, people would like really crap on me because I like Michael Keaton's like 1989 Batman. Like, it was too comic book and too silly. Well, it is from a comic book, and this is not the way Batman's supposed to be. Nolan, Nolan's Batman. That's it. That's the definitive Batman. And I always was bothered by Christian Bale. It wasn't my favorite like actor to play Batman, and I think Christian Bale's a fantastic actor. I just didn't think it was the right fit for the role. Now, that being said, I've got the Dark Knight Blu-ray trilogy, the big box set with the white case and all the goodies, and I did buy the Dark Knight 4K trilogy as well, because I like to rewatch them, and I find that I do get different things out of them. Christian Bale's still not one of my favorite Batmans, but there's so much good around him that I do like. The way that it's shot, the film noir aspects of the movies. I do like I like the villains a lot. I mean, I like Cillian Murphy. I like of course, I like Heath Ledger. I like Tom Hardy. I like Anne Hathaway. So many great things that I love about those films. Now, Christopher Nolan, like me, loves the 1989 Batman. He's a big fan of it, and that's one of the reasons that he made the Dark Knight trilogy. So there, from the one that I got, we got the trilogy that is so beloved by so many people. He loved the Tim Burton one, especially the 1989 one. So when like I said in another video, I've said this before, I will say this again, because I feel justified in this, and that, like, so many people crapped on the Tim Burton one, and then Christopher Nolan came out and defended the Tim Burton one. So, just saying. But yeah, I feel that he's really helped in the getting the format across, getting it into more people's homes. Sure, I think it was a great cross section of TVs got cheaper. Xbox One S became available at a good price point. The Nolan collection came in at all this came in converged at the same time. So that's a magical moment, because for a lot of us cinephiles here, we've been wanting these Nolan films, and we've already got the Blu-ray or got the DVD, and for some of us that was like that's a bit of a tipping point. One of the things I got most excited about was finding out, and I'm like I said, I like the Batman. I love Batman. It's one of my favorite characters. I'm usually a bit more fan of the villains than I'm actual like superhero characters. Batman's one of the characters that I did like. Batman, I like Batman. I like Nightwing. I love Nightwing. The early part of the Nightwing like comic book series, what that Chuck Dixon did with in Bloodhaven, when he's in Bloodhaven. I love that. I hated when they got rid of Bloodhaven in the Nightwing comics. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I apologize. But quick history, comic book history. Batman, The Dark Knight had a sidekick named Robin, and the first Robin's name was Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson eventually would go to college, and he would join the Teen Titans. There's a series coming on TV, actually pretty soon. Oh, it's not coming on TV. It's coming on like one of those streaming service things called The Titans. And it's got like Dick Grayson in it. And anyway, so he went in pretty much as Robin, but as he was becoming like a leader of the group, the Titans, like the Teen Titans at the time, he would eventually morph and want to become his own superhero character, and he would become Nightwing, and somebody else would take over the role of Robin. Actually, there would be two people. There would be Jason Todd, and then after that there would be Tim Drake, and of course after that then you got like Damian Wayne, which is actually Bruce Wayne's actual son with Talia. There's a whole lot of story in that. I'm a big comic book fan. If you didn't know before, you know it now. And Nightwing's one of the characters, got his own comic book series, and rather than stay in Gotham, he got his own place to be in, like to prowl, his own city. And the city that he got was Bloodhaven. And if you watch a lot of the GC shows, like the TV shows, you're going to hear like mentions of Bloodhaven every once in a while. And I geek out every time I hear it, because I'm a huge fan of Nightwing, the Chuck Dixon run on Nightwing. And I like Chuck Dixon when he did like, I think it was Chuck Dixon that did Nightwing, pretty sure. Because I know he did like Robin as well, like the Tim Drake Robin series. And just did some incredible stuff. So if you're a comic fan, you haven't checked out any of that stuff, the original Nightwing series and the Robin series with Tim Drake, because the miniseries are pretty good too with the Joker and all that. Joker's Wall, it's pretty good. But I would recommend the Tim Drake Robin comic book series as a jump-on point, and I would recommend the Nightwing series. Of course, there's like different like comic storylines along the way that I do recommend, like the Judas Contract, which was actually made into an animated film. Haven't seen the animated version yet, actually. I got to actually get around to that. But that I do recommend, and one of these days I'll do like a whole video on like some of my recommendations. I got to check the time here because I just got some stuff. I just put in some more laundry, and I just downloaded the iMovie app on my new iPhone 8 here, so that when I'm out around I can actually do it. I was going to do some video, like some hunting video out and about when I was out unboxing it. Then I realized that the iMovie app was there, but it was left in the cloud because it's like 600 something megabytes. So it gives you the option of putting it in or not having it. And the good thing about a new iPhone is that you get all the the whole iWorks thing. You get like the iMovie, GarageBand, all the stuff like that you're going to be wanting to work with. And so today I finally just downloaded the iMovie app, and gonna be able to play with that a bit. I don't know if I doubt there's any difference between it there and here on the on my iPad. But either way, at least that gives me portability. So and got it's 32 gigs, so decent. It's got decent storage on here, much better than my old Samsung had, and much better than my actual my other iPad, my iPad that I got right here, which only has 16, I think 16 gigs. Not even that really. I got like 2 or 3 gigs left on it now, if that, because I got have a lot of board games on here. So there's one other thing I want to talk about, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about, and that's the Oscars. Why do I want to talk about the Oscars today? Well, eventually they're coming up. They are, you know, and I had some thoughts. I'll be right back. So there we go. We thought to give you a better look at some of the kinos that I had over here that you couldn't probably see. And you can see the Depato Feeling ones, like that box there. And you can see a few of the different movies. He Ran All the Way, Storm Fear, Big House USA, Bullet for Joey, and Witness to Murder. That's all part of a film noir box set. There, right at the end there, you can see Shiver the Vampire, which is that John Rollin vampire film that I talked about. That's the only John Rollin one I got. I've got the Nosferatu edition there, and you'll also see there's there's 2 box sets. One is the DVD box set that they did for a film noir with, you know, Sudden Fear, Hangmen Also Die, The Long Night, Railroaded, and Behind Locked Doors. It's actually really hard for me to see. I need new glasses. And of course, right beside that is their kind of like their silent horror set, which has the Cat and the Canary, The Penalty, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Man Who Laughs, and the really fantastic documentary that I watch over and over again called Kingdom of Shadows, The Rise of the Horror Film. If you haven't seen that, it's really, really good. It's really well done, and just something that I really love. So I just thought I'd let you guys see that there. You can see a little bit of my Depato Feelings there. You also see the At the Earth's Core. It's one that they did with Scorpion Releasing. There's Sugar Hill there, and of course there's the 2 ones, the Bette Davis ones, the Of Human Bondage, which is a favorite film of mine, and Hell's House. So I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about the Oscars, and we're thinking about like what movies we think are going to be like nominated this year, what we think some of the dark horses could be and stuff like that. And I'm going to do a video on that like down the road. I actually have a friend on here that hasn't done a video in a bit, but because it's been really busy, but knows the Oscar stuff like really well, and his name is Parsnip Burger. So if you've seen some of his older videos, you know that he's like kind of like one of the way I know like the horror exploitation stuff, he knows his Oscar stuff like that. What I find kind of unique is I thought we were going through it and we said, you know, look at all those great movies that, like, you know, the good movies aren't going to win anyway, because now it's not like in the old days when the good movies won all the time. But then we went back and we looked at the movies that won over the years as opposed to some of the ones that are out there. So I just thought I'd kind of go over like a couple of those. So, and rather than you like looking at me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you look at my collection a bit, and then I'll kind of talk to you about some of these here, some of this Oscar stuff. So give me a sec. So there we go. Now you can see some of my Scream Factory stuff, some of my 88 films, a couple of my arrows. Did you see it? No, you can't see my arrows. My arrows up above. Anyway, so what I wanted to go through is like some of the films that actually kind of won. And some years, like, okay, like, I get it. But other years, I'm like, was that really the film that, like, I can, like, 1945, basically, the last weekend, I really get that one as being, like, you know, a film that, like, would, you know, that would win. That's an Oscar film. But, like, seeing Going My Way, 1944 win against, like, Double Indemnity and Gaslight, kind of blows my mind. So it wasn't just in the early days. It wasn't just in like, later years that, like, the Oscars was kind of baffling. How Green Was My Valley in 1941. It's a fantastic film. But it went up against like Citizen Kane and the Maltese Falcon. Both films I would have put above it, and like even Suspicion, I'll be honest with you. And that's, you know, that could be just me. Green Was My Valley, great film, but not my favorite for that year. The year that Rebecca won, and of course Alfred Hitchcock did when producer David Selznick won. That wouldn't have been the movie I would have picked for that year either. I mean, that's the year that The Grapes of Wrath came out. That's the year that The Great Dictator and The Philadelphia Story came out. For me, you know, this is just my personal opinion. Like, honestly, The Great Dictator, seriously, over Rebecca, like, any day. And like one of the more controversial things I'm going to say is like I love Gone with the Wind, fantastic film, beautiful sweeping epic. But I also like Dark Victory. I love The Mice and Men. It's just odd some years that some things I guess that took it, that actually won. Like I get like Hamlet winning, but The Red Shoes was out that year too, which is also an incredible film. It has to be hard to pick some of these sometimes. Was American in Paris really better than Streetcar Named Desire? You guys let me know what you think of this. Like The Greatest Show on Earth beats out High Noon, or The Quiet Man, which is probably for me the best John Wayne film, best acted John Wayne film. But High Noon, can The Greatest Show on Earth beats out High Noon? It's amazing to see how some of the stuff goes. I mean, like Bridge on the River Kwai, yeah, I get it. Both 12 Angry Men is there too. Around the World in 80 Days. Yeah, I guess that beats a giant. Ben-Hur does not beat out Anatomy of Murder for me. I'm sorry, I know it's a great film, but I really love the Anatomy of Murder. Otto Preminger did a fantastic job with that film. And, you know, there's certain movies here that I'm a big fan of, but I just don't think that they were that these should have been Oscar winners. And, some of these are going to be kind of controversial. Tom Jones beating it How the West Was Won baffles me. The Sound of Music beating it Dr. Zhivago. That blows my mind. I totally agree with it In the Heat of the Night. Although I love Bonnie and Clyde. I love The Graduate. It's a depressing ass movie when you really think about it. Look at the last scene. Watch The Graduate, and it seems like it's a really romantic film. And you look at that last scene, and the look on their faces, it's almost heartbreaking. Oliver probably isn't the best movie, but because I have such I got such a love for that film, that yes, I'll go with that. I can agree with Midnight Cowboy. I can agree with Patton. French Connection. I love The French Connection, but A Clockwork Orange came out that year, and The Last Picture Show. And The Clockwork Orange and The Last Picture Show are two, for me, of cinema's greatest films. And I know The French Connection is an amazing film, and it has that chase sequence is incredible. But can I put it over Clockwork Orange and The Last Picture Show? I really can't, and I love those type of movies. It pains me to say, but I guess it was hard. Maybe that was a close call that year. I get The Godfather. I get The Sting. The Exorcist came out that year, though, and so did American Graffiti. Godfather Part 2, fantastic, a wonderful sequel. Chinatown, though, guys, Chinatown. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I totally agree, but Jaws came out. Jaws, guys. You know, I'm wearing the Jaws shirt, but yeah, I get One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Rocky, I totally get, even though All the President's Men and Network came out in that year. And Taxi Driver. No, I don't get Rocky after all. Rocky is a good film. Is it All the President's Men, Network, and Taxi Driver good? Maybe. Is it Oscar over those films? Is it the better film? Is it better than Network and Taxi Driver and All the President's Men? I don't know. I still can't believe Going My Way is one. That blows my mind. Going My Way. Yeah. And with 2018 coming up, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we'll definitely be able to talk about on here. But certain ones, it just gets to me. It just really does. I don't know. It shouldn't get to me. But I just want to say, it wasn't just in recent years that the so-called wrong film won. Or the film, people have come all kinds of stuff well, this film's not going to win. It's too politicized, or the Oscars are rigged and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Kramer vs. Kramer is a personal film for me, so even though all that jazz and Apocalypse Now came out the year and Breaking Away, I can still see Kramer vs. Kramer getting it. Though some of these, even when I was a kid, I couldn't believe Chariots of Fire was one. It's the best film. I know it's a classic film, but I was just not a huge fan of Chariots of Fire back in the day. I could watch it, but it bored me as a kid. In terms of endearment, I love that, I'd rather poke needles in my eyes type of thing. But again, the right stuff came out that year. Amadeus is a personal favorite of mine. Out of Africa, Platoon I get. The Last Emperor, over broadcast news and failed. Over broadcast news? I mean, I love broadcast news. Now, some of these, yes, people will say, yes, of course, that's the movie that won. But understand that these are just my personal preferences here. There's movies that I think just probably shouldn't have got the Oscar. I mean, there's ones that I think were locks. Schindler's List was going to be a lock that year, even though there was some Merchant Ivory stuff in The Remains of the Day that came out. You knew that Schindler's List was going to get it. Forrest Gump, not a favorite of mine. I know a lot of people love it, but I would have picked Pulp Fiction any day. Even Quiz Show, Shawshank Redemption. All three of those over Forrest Gump. The fact they're nominated, that was great. Braveheart over Apollo 13, no. The English Patient over Fargo, no. Just no. And I know, again, some of these are classics and beloved films for people, but they're not, some just aren't beloved for me. The Titanic, what a fantastic James Cameron. Honestly, I find it boring. I would have picked LA Confidential. I was going for LA Confidential that year. I was really peeved about that. Same with Shakespeare in Love. The year Shakespeare in Love came out, I was going for The Thin Red Line. That one didn't win it. I actually really liked American Beauty, but at that time I think it was, I wasn't sure if it was The Insider that I was going for or something like that. I was probably going for Sixth Sense at that point because I was a big fan of that film then. I saw it in theater and stuff. Gladiator, great film. Still, yeah, okay. We can give it Gladiator. But some of these here. Now, people will, say, how can Chicago win over the Gangs of New York? And I'm a huge fan of, of the musical Chicago. So, but even I can say, no, it wasn't a better movie than Gangs of New York. Not by any, stretch of the imagination. I think Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, winning for 2003 was basically a combination of, that entire saga that he did. And for that reason alone, it deserved to win. It was $1 Million Babe. $1 Million Babe is a great movie. But do I think it should have won? I know Ray came out that year, man. Just so many different movies came out that, to me, were better films within that year. And I guess at the end of the day, it's a subjective thing. If you go on, you can wiki this yourself and look through the years and see, okay, is this the film that really deserved to win it? And there's more movies in category every year now. It's went to 5 or 6 movies. Now it's like 10. So the year the King's Speech one, there's movies like Black Swan, and there was Inception that came out that year, and The Social Network, and that's still my favorite of one of my favorites of his films. And Winter's Bones, True Grit was actually a very good remake by the Coen Brothers. But for me, Inception would have been the movie hands down over the King's Speech. My God, yes. And this is speaking as somebody that would have strong connections to the movie The King's Speech, being somebody that's had serious issues with speaking and stuttering. I wouldn't put The Artist as the best movie that year. I wouldn't put Argo as the best movie of the year that it won. But yeah, there you go. There's just a lot. Just go look for yourself, just for fun. Look through the Wikipedia and see the choices that are out there and that year, and see which ones that you choose. And if you have any alternate choices, put them in the comment section down below. I'd really like to hear it. But my voice is going, guys. I just want to make a quick, I don't know, this is not a quick video, but make a video for you. So I'll be right back in a second. We'll end this off. Hey there, also, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I wanted to get this done here as well as while I was doing laundry. I did 2 things at once, and I'm hoping to get these videos up. I got about 2 or 3 videos that got to get up here now, including one that's really long, so fingers crossed that one's going to get up. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. I've been trying to make longer videos for you. I know that some people prefer the shorter ones, but I find that a lot of the people that watch my videos actually prefer the longer videos, and sometimes they'll put them on and to listen to them in the background, And there's always something different and interesting. So if you don't tune in early, because you can miss something really cool. You never know. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm the Movie Prof. My name is Aaron. My throat is going, and it is seriously 110% time for tea. Have a great day, guys. Happy 2018.